Is UGA the new Bama? That's been a question that's been floated. And to answer that, as an Auburn graduate who grew up a Georgia fan living in Georgia territory, Georgia is not the new Bama. Georgia is the new Georgia. You get what I did there? Georgia is not the new Bama. Georgia is the new Georgia. See, growing up as a Georgia fan, I grew up with all the heartbreak that came along with it, and the star players. Growing up, having all the talent, not being able to get past Florida or Tennessee. That's what I grew up with. So I resonate. I know how it feels for all the heartbreak, how long it took for Georgia to get a national championship. Now, I didn't feel it as much because me being an Auburn grad, I was able to get celebrate a national championship after the millennium in 2010 with Cam, but I digress. The original question was, is Georgia the new Bama? And my answer is that Georgia is the new Georgia. The way Georgia has been recruiting, the way that Georgia has been kind of firing themselves up, the way Kirby Smart has been running that program, the mentality that Georgia has, that dog. Like if you heard the leaked speech that Kirby Smart has, it makes you want to go to work tomorrow and punch somebody in the mouth or run through the wall. It gives you that type of intensity. And I'm not inciting anybody to workplace violence, but what I'm saying is even a guy who goes to an office like myself got me fired up. I'm probably gonna be punching the hell out of that keyboard tomorrow, like if I were to hear that speech. And that's the attitude that the new Georgia has. And I call it the new Georgia because the recruits have been there. Georgia always landed the best. Georgia has, before now, Georgia has been landed NFL talent after NFL talent, 5-star after 5-star, 4-star after 4-star. Like, the talent and the recruiting has never been an issue. It's been about being able to take that next step. And I think that's really important to why Georgia's doing things the way Georgia is doing them. It's cool. You got a Quavo. You got who's right there with the team. You got a guy like Jonas Jennings as the director of player development, probably one of the most well-respected guys in the college football game, who's able to get straight out of College Park. You got people in place that are making Georgia the place to be. So no, I wouldn't disrespect what Georgia is doing or what they have done being back-to-back by saying they're the new Alabama. They're the new Georgia, and in my opinion, it looks like the new Georgia is here to stay. Now, every time somebody has a conversation like I just had, you gotta know that Nick Saban is somewhere licking his chops and getting ready and trying to figure out how he's going to go out with a bang. A competitor like that, nah, it ain't over for Bama. If I had to take my pick right now, I would probably pick Bama and Georgia in the national championship next year. But the one thing that's going to kind of open up both of those teams to kind of go to the maybe on the decline is that they have a common enemy in Auburn that's on the rise. At Auburn, if they are not good for nothing else, they're good for disruption. So Auburn taking that next step, possibly. So Bama and Georgia have to get ready, because if you wake up the sleeping giant that Auburn is, and even if you just go back historically, every 3 to 4 years, you're going to have an Auburn team that's going to be here. And I think Hugh Freeze has what it takes in order to go from every 4 years, every 3-4 years, to every 1-2 years to be in major contention. And as the SEC continues to expand, there's going to be more parity and more opportunity. And I think that Georgia and Bama, you got a couple more years to run it like that, and then you're going to have the LSUs of the world and the Auburns of the world return to prominence. I mean, even what Mark Stoops has been able to do at Kentucky has been amazing, in my opinion. You got Florida State returning, so on the national picture, I think, and who knows what Deion's going to do. Man, who knows what Deion is going to do. I'm looking at him recruiting. He's going to have to get some linemen, but I do think that, yeah, it's going to be really interesting in college football going forward.